Hello. This is Els coming from Bemis Crafty Corner, and I have a project for us today. And today's project is this. That is a paint chip. So we're gonna get those out, and we're gonna be working on this one. So, I had the paint chips, and I was like, what am I going to do with these things? I have to do something. So I decided what I was going to do with my paint chips is I was going to make some really pretty different tags. So I have paint chips in this size, and they're all pre-cut. They came this way, which is kind of what, you know, got me to this. And I have some ribbons. I have some paint chips that look like this. We're going to do something a little bit different with this one. You'll see. And we have these. These are those giant paint chips that Amy and I got a while ago. And I got some of these from her. I got Kitty Cat, Moonlight, and Boogie Board. So we're going to be doing, obviously, some bigger pieces, and we're going to be using these. And this is HGTV Home from Sherwin-Williams, from Lowe's. That's where we got those. And I just got some really nice muted pastel type colors. They're not really pastel, I wouldn't say pastel, but they're very muted, you know. And so I figured we would do this. So the only other thing we're going to need here are some buttons, and we want buttons that have the little, you know, hook in the back. That's the ones we want. So I'm going to get everything out of the way, and these aren't going to be used on this project, but they were in there because they're paint chips, and so I put them in with the paint chips, not thinking that I was going to need these for something else. But we're going to get these out of the way. I'm going to move this stuff, and I'll be back, and I'll have, you know, a more complete list of tools. I'll be right back. Okay, so what are we going to want for this? Well, some shank back buttons. Some hot glue. Hole punch. Obviously, we're going to want our paint chips, some ribbon, lace, seam binding, whatever it is you want to use. These you can buy at a craft store. They're called needle threaders, and they'll cost you about $6, or you can pick these up at most dollar stores in the dental floss section. Okay, yes, they smell minty, but you know, makes your project smell good. And what else? Paper trimmer if you are using bigger pieces. You're going to want paper for the back of these, and you're going to want glue to adhere that, okay? So let's go ahead and get started. We'll pick a couple. Okay, let's do white truffle. I like that color. Illusion. And chat room. What the hell? Why not, right? I'll tell you what, we'll do 2 of these, and then we'll do one from the bigger pieces. So, first thing I'm going to want to do is I'm going to want to back this. So let's go ahead and get this out of the way. Let's go ahead and measure this. So we need a piece that is about 2 1/4 wide by about 5 inches long. 2 1/4 by 5. So that's scrap. So here's a piece that I did some stuff on. And we'll go ahead and just, you know, cut a piece that's 2 1/4. By 5. We'll cut it a little longer than 5 so we can get a straight edge on this end. Okay, 2 1/4 by 5. And then all we're going to do is glue these together. Just like this. Easy peasy. Glue on the paint chip. Now, here's the thing. These do not ink very well. If you're going to be using like StazOn or something like that, then yes, it will. But be careful because it will smudge if you try to ink the edges on this, okay? So I'm going to put the colored side of my paper down. It's kind of a cool effect, huh? But we're going to get rid of that. I'm going to go ahead and cut it off. I know I had scissors. Here they are. So I'm just going to trim these off, and I'm going to do this to all of the ones that I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be adding paper to the back and then trimming them down. And then I'm going to round these bottom corners just a little. You know, not too much. Just a little. That one didn't quite round. There we go. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and do this one, and then I'll be back. Okay, so went ahead and backed both of these. And this one I put a little bit of ink on it, but I didn't do the, you know, your standard flick, flick, flick. I just kind of wiped the ink on the edge just to get rid of that. And then, of course, you can ink the back. Just inking the front, not so good, because these paint chips, the ink doesn't really stay on there. So ink the backs, ink the edge, but do more of a wipe than a, you know, this type of an ink. Because if you do it this way where you're flicking the ink on like this, it's just going to rub off the front. It's going to make a mess. But if you want to get rid of that white edge, you could just kind of brush around it. Okay, so once you've got that, then we're going to pop some holes. So I'm going to come in here with my hole punch. And I'm going to put a hole in there. There we go. And then this is where our hot glue comes in. Because what we want to do is we want to put a little bit of hot glue on here so that the button stays. So let me get out my little mat. Okay. Oh, I gotta put more hot glue in my hot glue. So I'm just going to put a little bit of hot glue around there. And then I'm going to put my button shank through the hole. Okay. I'm going to let that set for a minute. I'm going to do this other one as well. Just a little bit of glue on there. And then put my button through. Alright, so while I'm waiting for these to set up, I'm going to go ahead and get the hot glue gun out of the way here, and I will be right back. Okay, so these have, you know, completely cooled, and the buttons are now in there, okay? And now we have to pick some ribbon. I picked this, it's like an iridescent kind of ribbon, and if you're dealing with stuff like this, you know, where it frays easily, just get out a lighter and just kind of burn the end. And that'll keep it from fraying. And then we're just going to feed this, the tail of this little green thing through. Okay. We're going to put a little bit of the ribbon through. Doesn't have to be a lot. Just a little bit. Okay. And then we're going to pull the ribbon through the shank. See that? Now, at this point, you can use hot glue, Fabri-Tac, whatever it is you want to use. I'm probably just going to use this Fabri-Tac right here. And I'm just going to put a little dot of glue right up here. After the Bog of Eternal Stench goes to the bottom of the bottle. There we go. I'm just going to put a little bit of Fabri-Tac on there. And then I'm just going to press that into it. All right, we're going to let that set and dry. I'm going to do the other one. Now this has got hot glue, so let's get my pokey tool so I can get the hot glue out of there. Probably should have wiped that off when I first put the button through, but I didn't think about it. There we go. Got it. All right, so again, I'm just going to put the tail through, and then I'm going to put the lace through the loop. Hopefully this will go relatively easy. There we go. And again, some Fabri-Tac on the back. Now you can use any kind of glue you want, okay? I just like Fabri-Tac on this. All right, so I'm going to let these dry, and then when I come back, we'll take a look. Be right back. So we have the small ones done, and they're reasonably dry right now. So let's talk about the bigger one. You know, because sometimes you get them that are really long. Okay, so let's do one really long. So we're going to cut this down. This is about 5.5 inches. So let's cut it in half. And then we're going to want to dog-ear the top, or round it, or do whatever it is that you want to do with this, okay? I think I'll round it. So let me get my big corner rounder. The monster size corner rounder. Okay. And then I'm just going to cut a piece of scrap for the back. Let's see. That'll work. Two and 3/4. Doesn't really matter about the length. And I can use colored paper if I want. This is actually colored on the other side. So if I wanted to, I could certainly do it this way and have a color in the back and a color in the front. But I like the idea of the white, so that's what I'm going to do. Alrighty. Same thing as before. We're going to add glue back here. Then I'm just going to put the paper on. And then I'm going to trim it off. And we're going to round the corners at the bottom. Here we go. So this is a nice tall tag. And let's see. What shall we use? Well, let's get a button and then we'll work from there. How's that sound? All right, so it's a big tag. It's going to have a big thing on it, so I'm going to want something with a big shank on the back. I got one. Oh, get to it. It's way down there. I'll either get to it or I'll dump all of these out, you know. Oh, there we go. It's not a very big button, but, you know, it's a nice button. All right. Hole. Punch hole. All right. All right, so I'm going to decide what kind of ribbon I want to put on here. So I'll be right back. Okay, so this should be hot. Glue. Button. And I figured since it was a big tag, we'd use two. Since I'm using so much more, I'm going to go ahead and put a little bit of hot glue back here. And bring these up. Use my silicone because I don't want to burn my fingers. And then just clean off any hot glue that's there. There. So now I have the big one. that's it. Those are my my paint tags. Where's the original? Here it is. Paint chip tags. That's it. All right. So, if you're new here and you haven't done so already, go ahead and hit the button for me and subscribe. Like me, ring my bell, share me with all your friends. Check out the community tab here on the YouTube channel. It's going to tell you everything that I got going on in my digital world. And if you want, go down to the description box and join us over on the Facebook group. Until I see you again, stay well, my friends. Bye-bye.